Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And happy Tuesday to you. Today is Tuesday, May the 9th, 2023, and we're here at 901 Main Street in the heart of Old Town Conyers. And I believe this is our first meeting for the month of May. It's May getting off to a brand new start here. The seasons have changed, and here we are. So we're calling our meeting to order this morning, and we have one of our very good friends, Pastor Nicholas Curry from Peaks Chapel Baptist Church, is here to lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Curry, come on up. Yes.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
God our Father, we come, we say thank you for this beautiful morning that you allowed us to come to share in the business of Rockdale County. We ask, God, that you would bless this chairman, these commissioners, and everyone that's here. We ask, God, that you would have your presence in this meeting and all meetings. We ask now that you would lead from the top all the way to the bottom, and that you would continue to just be God in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Would you stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners, we have a very robust schedule today, and we're going to try our best to stay focused and on track.
Okay.
And just before we get into the order of the schedule, I do want to just take an extra moment to say thank you to Pastor Curry, our good friend from Peaks Chapel Baptist Church. Peaks Chapel is certainly a pillar in the community here in Rockdale County. They've been around for a long, long time, and they do some phenomenal work serving the citizens of Rockdale County. You've heard me say it on multiple occasions. Government alone can't serve all of the people in our community, but the work that happens and their ministries over at Peaks Chapel, we certainly do appreciate you, Pastor Curry, and all of the members of Peaks Chapel. And folks, I'm going to tell you, if you ever had a craving for a spirit-filled Sunday morning worship, if you could just make your way over to Peaks Chapel, you are in for a treat. Let's give Pastor Curry a wonderful round of applause. We have a list of, Executive Director Rutledge, a list of special recognitions and presentations this morning, and I think we want to go in the order that they're printed on the program. We're starting with item number A is the Nancy Gwen Memorial Library updates, and we'll go in that order.
All right, good morning, commissioners, fellow guests.
Good morning.
On behalf of Director Brenda Poku and the Library Board of Trustees, I just want to thank you for allowing us to come down and kind of give updates on what's going on here at the library going into the summer season, because we are proud to be the happening place in Rockdale County.
All right.
I will be speaking today with Dolores Scully and with Megan Newberry. First off, I'd like to announce that we are adopting the Overdrive ebook and e-audio service for our patrons, for our public. This is an update that I'm really excited about. It's by far the most popular ebook service offered by public libraries today. It's the most developed. That's going to be starting this coming Friday, May the 12th. We'll be moving over 4,000 titles for adults and teens over to the Overdrive service through their app, Libby. We'll be keeping our children's titles on the current app, the Access 360. Through that app, we also have access to what's called the eRead Kids collection of children's books. That's provided at no charge to the library and to our patrons from the state library.
Very good.
Like I said, it starts this Friday, May the 12th. So on Friday, you would just go to your device's app store and search Libby, and it should be the first that comes up from Overdrive. You just type in your library card number, and you are logged in. We're really excited.
All right. Very good.
Is that Libby?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's give the local library a round of applause. All of the
And that's just the first update.
yes. All right, Ms. Dolores, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Fantastic.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for having us here at the library. Again, I am here, hadn't been here since 2019, so it's been a minute.
Right.
I'm the outreach coordinator, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff we've been doing. We've been donating books in the community. We were donating large amounts of books during the COVID time, but we are back giving donations to different organizations like personal care homes, the jail, the youth detention center, Goodwill, Kidney Foundation, daycares for underprivileged kids and parents and students and things like that. We've been going over to Lakeview, donating books over there. Our outreach department attends school events and other events in the community. We were just at the Taste of Spring this past weekend, and we engaged over 400 people. So
Wow.
we are always talking about what we're doing at the library. And we participated in March, this past March, at Career Academy, the Parent Academy, where we engage parents and kids, about 102 of them. So we're out definitely in the community. We're partnering at the schools, going to literacy nights. We are doing special story times at the schools, and we are also working with transition students. They come over to the library and they visit the library. One other thing we're doing is we're also partnering with other community organizations. I've been going over to the senior citizen, and we have a book club over there. So we started that in January, and we have a small group, but it's engaging, and we've been really having a great time. So that's been going on. And last year, we went over to Lakeview twice a week so that kids can be a part of summer reading, and we donated books, but also we also gave away school supplies also during the summer. So
Very good.
we are going again this year. We'll be out there, and Miss Megan Newberry will tell you a little bit about summer reading.
All right, Ms. Megan.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am a new face. I've been at the library for 6 years, but I have just become the new children's services supervisor.
Okay.
So I am happy to be here in front of you guys today. On behalf of the library director and the board of trustees, I am so proud to announce that we are going to have a full-scale summer reading program downstairs in our newly renovated children's department that now has a view of our green space and our new park area. Being closer to the park allows for us to have more indoor and outdoor programming for children. Some of our upcoming park area programs is going to be our summer reading kickoff party. That's going to be May 27th. We are going to have a Touch a Truck event with our community vehicles. There'll be a bunch of vehicles that kids can explore and play with face painting and live music and so much more. Additionally, each week we're going to have Rockdale Eats a Rainbow with the UGA Extension Services. And then another indoor-outdoor program that we're going to have is a Backyard Birds program with the Conyers Garden Club. And I am super excited about that program because we have added several bird feeders to our park area, and one of our bird feeders was designed to look just like our circulation desk, so it's very fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Our main goal in the summer is to prevent the summer slump during the school break, and we are so happy to provide a place where children can come and have fun while also furthering their literacy and their learning experiences. On that note, I wanted to talk about a couple of the tools available for kids to be able to have access from home to also help prevent the summer slump. We have a program called ABC Mouse, which is for free if you have your Pines Library card or the Play card through the Rockdale County Public Schools. This program is super popular, and it's an award-winning early learning literacy academy designed especially for kids. Through funding from a Georgia Public Library Service grant, we now have these brand new Playway launch pads that, they are preloaded with apps and games that encourage language and literacy development. These tablets help kids to learn in a way that is relatable and relevant without requiring any library or any Wi-Fi connection. So they're all preloaded, no Wi-Fi. That's all I got. Thank you so much to the commissioners for your time, and thank you for the opportunity for us to share a little bit more about our library. We would love for you to come visit us and enjoy the excitement of the summer reading program this year. And I'm going to hand it back to Britt, our assistant director, to open it up.
We're happy to take any questions. If you have
Well,
any.
Britt, Megan, Ms. Dolores, folks, let's just give them a round of applause. So I'm going to yield in just a second to the commissioners, but real quick, I want to say the energy that you brought in the door about the local library is certainly welcome, and I believe that we've got the coolest library in the state of Georgia. Give them another round of applause. I'm loving the T-shirts, and I really like what you said, Megan, repeatedly. You talked about prevent the summer slump. When young people are out of school, literacy, we all know that reading is fundamental. So to be able to make sure that our young people are still engaged with reading and literacy throughout the summer and all the cool programs, I can't wait to see that bird feeder too, that looks like your circulation desk. I mean, you guys are really doing some out of the box thinking. I'm gonna stop, you got me excited. Commissioner Washington, what say you?
Oh, wow. I can't match the level of excitement over here. But first of all, thank you all so much. Every time I come to the library, it's always such a great feeling to be in there. Everything looks so modern, so technologically savvy. Everybody is engaged. You know, it's just a lot going on. Everybody knows I love the Read a Rainbow project. I'm looking forward to the bird feeders, just the whole thing. So thank you all so much. And you all know this will be KJ's first real summer. He's 4, so he's able to do a lot more. So we'll be there a lot this summer.
Great, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Williams.
And that's interesting because my first thought was, darn, I don't have any little grandkids that
You can
live
take
around
KJ.
me. But it brought back all kinds of memories for how my family spent our summer at the library. The big openings kickoff, and my sister always beat me at how many books she could read, but we'd end up both getting awards for our age categories. I just have the fondest memories. I'm like the chairman, though, when I love to come over and see everything,
Please.
that's going on. The last time I was there was ribbon cutting for the new youth, I think, center that was just phenomenal. So there's something there for every age. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Next up is an update from Dr. Robert Hughes from Restoration Storehouse. Come up, Dr. Hughes. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I had sent over a presentation, but not sure if it was received in time.
We have it, and we're ready. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, good morning, and thank you again for inviting me to be here with you to provide an update for Restoration Storehouse. Also want to recognize members of our board that are here in support. Thank you. And Restoration Storehouse is in a good place in this season of our development. As you are well aware, last year we came here to report through our first cycle of work with Restoration Storehouse in the community. We were able to deliver over $13 million of direct services to Rockdale residents. as well as we delivered over $5 million of capital improvements to 1400 Parker Road. So building on that momentum, we know as an organization that we moved from what was a concept phase to now in real day-to-day operations. And so that allowed for us to do some specific evaluation with our partners, being able to see how they are delivering services and programs to the community. And so for today, I will go through some updates and details from this quarter as to how our partners are performing. I'll give a little sample, and then I'll just go through some of our areas of community engagement as well as some of our campus activities and operations. Restoration Storehouse is open, and we are open to serve. One of our partners, Mercy Heart Clinic, during the time period of January through March 2023, Mercy Heart provided 146 medical visits, serving 105 individual patients, and 115 dental visits, serving 78 individual patients. Those are all Rockdale residents because that is one criteria of eligibility for service. It also allows for 25 new medical patients and 21 new dental patients were added during the quarter. As we go to the next slide, it will give the market value of those programs and services and staffing that was provided during the quarter. The grand total of those services that were offered were at $295,966.78 just for this first quarter alone. And we do use the Medicaid, Medicare numbers that will allow for us to calculate the cost of those services.
Dr. Hughes, you said that's just for this first quarter alone.
Yes, sir, just for this first quarter
That deserves
alone.
a round of applause right there. That's a lot of money and a lot of service. Absolutely. I want to interrupt you just to say this because, Commissioner, I think as we listen to this presentation, a lot of folks may be missing the point about actually what Restoration Storehouse does and what they bring to the community. The number of service delivery treatment to so many people across our community that are in need. And the thing that he said the most is that the number one prerequisite is that you have to be a Rockdale resident. We are servicing and assisting families that are in need. That's a big number already just in the first quarter. I'm going to point out the great work that you're doing because it took us quite some time to get to this point with Restoration Storehouse, and I think it's been somewhat of a secret and almost a mystery for folks driving down Parker Road not knowing really what's going on behind the walls. But continue on and give us some more information.
Sure, absolutely. And so just to go back to start, some may know and some may not, but our main objective as Restoration Storehouse is to help families here in Rockdale County who are experiencing some level of financial crisis. And so typically we meet families at a point of crisis, but our model is constructed to allow for us to develop long-term relationship with Rockdale residents. So we may meet them at a point of crisis, but through developing trust and relationships and referring them to other services within our network, the goal is to really build long-term safety, security, and stability for families, as well as how that would reflect here in our county of Rockdale. So the goal is really to help families discover paths out of poverty with no intent to return. And so that's our goal and focus at Restoration, to be able to help those families. I don't have a slide for this, but one of our partners is Partnership for Community Action. And they're on the front lines serving housing needs here in the Rockdale area. And so in the first quarter of 2023, providing rental, mortgage, and temporary lodging assistance, they supported in the amount of $37,000 over that time period here in Rockdale. I'll move forward through our other partners. And again, I'm not highlighting all the partners today,
Yes, sir.
but just wanted to give a brief overview of the work that is going on and being able to at least share where we're moving in the role of economic impact. One of our partners, Refuge, they delivered with Rockdale Impact $69,019 in the first quarter. Their total impact was $153,375. What that indicates, and you'll see it on the slide as well, is that some of our partners do serve surrounding areas based on the type of funding that they receive. But the bulk of those services, 45%, were delivered to Rockdale residents, 20% was delivered to DeKalb residents, 19% was delivered to Newton residents, and then there was 16 that came from other populations as well. They have been doing tremendous work at the border of Conyers and Stonecrest, where they do receive a lot of individuals seeking their level of support and services. The types of services that they offer, which is represented on the next slide, is a range of services from parenting class visits. They also perform pregnancy tests. They provide material services, which that would include diapers and formula for families who have that need, and they even provide ultrasounds and follow-up visits. So those are the services that Refuge Center provides. One of the updates on Refuge Center is that they will be our next organization to build out at Restoration Storehouse. They will be building out close to 5,000 square feet of space. That will include their examination rooms, training conference center, storage areas, and just their entire footprint will be located on site at 1400 Parker Road. We have a timeline to begin building roughly beginning of July. So we're looking forward to that. Another group that's within Restoration Storehouse is Rockdale County Head Start. This cycle, we have been able to onboard a new grantee, and they are providing tremendous services at 1400 Parker Road. The current enrollment is 78 Head Start children. Those are ages 3 to 5, and then 31 Early Head Start, which is from 12 months to 36 months. So that's the point of transition for a child. Once they reach 36 months, then they go into the Head Start program. And next week we will be having what's called a transition service, not graduation, but it's transition where they go from being an early Head Start to Head Start. So we're excited about that. Just to summarize the services that are provided by Head Start, again, education, health, nutrition, parent engagement. They focus on disabilities, mental health, and then classroom extension. What that looks like is the ability to receive medical and dental care, healthy meals, snacks, of course, classroom curriculum, and then also to provide quality recreation. The next slide will just give
wait a minute now, because the Head Start program is a big deal, Dr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Your chairman is, you call it transition, but I'm a graduate of the Head Start, it's the Head Start program. Absolutely. It was a long time ago. I think Chief Mackey is also. I'm a proud product of Head Start.
Yes, sir.
And that program has been around for many, many years. Yes. So we let's give Head Start a round of applause. Every child deserves a good Head Start. So you got some more information. You know, let me say, I'm interjecting a little bit because it's so important that we understand the magnitude of these services that are being provided in our community. And we also have to recognize the help of those in our community who are in need. We're changing lives with what's happening over at Restoration Storehouse. Amen. And whereas some people may minimize the significance of it, we maximize the importance of it by making sure that we support what's happening over there. I'm so excited to hear this update along with the commissioners. Give us some more information, Dr. Hughes.
Yes, sir. And I neglected to share that we have a total of 109 students in our program this year. We have capacity of 151. So enrollment is open. It's ongoing enrollment. And so this next slide will indicate the income eligible populations. Some may not know that there is a percentage of space available that is not regulated by income. So if you do have a need, if you're looking for a place of early childhood development for your child, I would recommend that you go and speak with them and have a conversation about enrollment regardless of your level of income. Just looking at the charts, they break down with public assistance. We have families that fall into that category. We have some families that are below 100% poverty level. We do prioritize families that are homeless and foster children, so we do have that population represented, and then also some of the families fall between that 100 to 130% federal poverty level. So we are able to meet families' needs. As you may well be aware of, the role of Head Start is, in addition to education, being able to do outreach to families and being able to create an environment where families thrive. And so what's taught inside of the school and in the classrooms can be reinforced at home. And so we have a robust parents meeting that takes place monthly. They provide their own level of governance and participation. And so they are deeply involved in their child's life and then the children that are serving in the community as well.
Very good. Very good.
So good things. Next up will be our program, Extra Mile Food Bank. Just one announcement for Extra Mile. They have had a shift in operations this month. They wanted to accommodate more families in the evening, so they have closed on Tuesdays, and they're now open on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then they'll close through the afternoon, and then they'll be reopening from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And they're also available on Saturdays to families.
Very good.
And
They-
they're located with you?
They are not. They are off-site on Royal Drive, 1903
Oh, okay.
Royal Drive.
Is that with Sheldon Landry?
Yes, Sheldon
Okay.
Landy is the program director.
Okay.
Very good.
And so just to give a little economic impact, they are doing an average of $150,000 per month in donations to between 1 and 200 families a month. And the average service that someone gets per visit is roughly around $150 of groceries.
Very good.
We'll move forward to the next portion of the update. I'll give a summary of Restoration Storehouse on the next slide. It's just to show for this quarter alone, with the partners that I have mentioned, not including Partnership for Community Action, they average $271,662 of monthly economic impact, and that's roughly $3.3 million annually of economic impact of the services that I detailed earlier. As I shared, construction update, the Refuge Center will begin their build out starting in July 2023. A key component of Restoration Storehouse is a shared system of data and support. This is how we're able to work with families over a long period of time, be able to measure their vulnerabilities, as well as to determine what ways in which we can be proactive in offering services. The program that we use is called Empowering Communities with Integrated Network Systems. It's been under development, and we are now in the testing phase, and it will go live to all of our partners in July of 2023. Again, what this does, it allows for us to serve the Rockdale participants and families with more clarity using a shared system of referral and case management system tools. Last slide simply is an update on what I started off sharing, was that Restoration Storehouse is open to serve. We are open to the public for scheduled facility tours and conversations. We are open to facilitate meeting and event space with local nonprofit organizations and foundations. We are open to skills-based volunteers as we developed our thought leadership from the community, as well as we have been able to audit the space used at 1400 Parker Road, and we are in a position now to entertain new partnership proposals. So we're excited about that. We do have an upcoming open house. It is scheduled on Thursday, June 22nd, and they will take place between the hours of 12 and 3 p.m. To be able to sign up for any of these activities, you can go to restorationstorehouse.org, select the Contact Us link in the top menu bar, fill out the form, and we will respond and set up some time to visit with you.
Dr. Hughes, thank you for this update this morning. I particularly want to highlight the upcoming open house on Thursday, June 22nd from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. There has been pockets of folks in our community who have been curious, wondering about what's happening over on Parker Road at 1400 there at Restoration Storehouse. This will remove the curiosity by allowing them to come into Restoration Storehouse and participate in a tour and see firsthand the impact that you all are making in the community. I'm so glad to hear about this open house that you're going to be having again, and we're going to make sure that our public relations department continue to promote that date because there's been a lot of feedback over time about what's really happening over at Restoration Storehouse. The impact that you all have is phenomenal. Keep up the good work. Commissioner Washington?
Could you get the date for the open house again?
Open house will take place Thursday, June 22nd, starting at the lunch hour, going from 12 o'clock to 3 p.m.
Okay. So, you know, I think this was one of our first big controversial decisions. But what you've presented is definitely the vision that I had of what we could do if we worked together in one space so that we can, I don't want to say attack, but address issues comprehensively over a period of time. I mean, we pretty much have the ability to track somebody from Head Start all the way through and provide services for the people who need them. And so that is a great asset to this community. And especially when you look at the economic impact that you all are having. So once again, thank you so much for all of your hard work, and thank you to the board. And I see people there that were instrumental in making this happen. So thank you all for the vision of being able to put something like this together for the citizens in our community. Often, and the people that Restoration Storehouse serve are the ones that might not know where to go, and now they can go to one place and get a multitude of services, and that's taking one of the worries or the burdens off of them. And I'm so grateful, Dr. Hughes, that you are at the helm and that this is going as good as it's going.
Commissioner Williams?
So my first acquaintance with Restoration Storehouse was way back in 2015 when it was just an idea. I had been to visit San Antonio with their diversion center and their Haven for Hope nonprofit out there, and I was so excited because everything out there was in one space and it was easy for people to access. And so when I came back, I mentioned it to Jeff Beach, and he said, oh, well, we need to have a meeting. And so they told me all about the idea for Restoration Storehouse. It's really, you know, like any good project, it's taken some time to get here. But I love to see the progress that you have made, the numbers, the people being served, that, you know, that Rockdale County just can't do. The county government cannot do. We don't have the resources for that. And so it's really important for us to partner with Restoration Storehouse. I also wanted to mention that I really appreciate that you've been able to provide temporary space for Grit and Grace. They have served, they have made thousands of contacts over in that space, and with small groups, with large activities. It's been very, very beneficial and helpful for those folks who are in the accountability courts, who are doing, you know, moving through the process of addiction recovery. So I am so glad that they are there also, right there with all of your services. So I appreciate all the work that you are doing, that your board is doing. It makes me happy.
The greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, said that the measure of a good boxer is not how well he can throw a punch, but his ability to take a punch. We took several punches in the beginning and the infancy of Restoration Storehouse, and I'm so delighted to see that we're still standing. Let's give Restoration Storehouse a round of applause. Keep up the good work, Dr. Hughes, and we'll be promoting the open house that's coming up on the 22nd of June. And if there's anything we can continue to do to support your efforts, don't hesitate.
Definitely. And if I can just close with, I'm thankful for the community support that we do have. We could not do the work that we do or have the impact that we have without our community partners, their board of directors, donors, and volunteers. So we do invite the community to come learn more about Restoration Storehouse, and we invite you to come and serve as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's give them another round of applause. Oh, so many good things are happening in Rockdale County. Next up is UGA Extension Services, and we have the one and only Miss Mary Beth. Absolutely. Give Mary Beth a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I think I sent a presentation too. Yes. I always panic that I didn't send it to the right place. But I will try to be brief because I know you have a lot up in front of you. But thank you so much for your time, Chairman, Commissioners, and Rockdale County at large. I'm here from UGA Extension to give a spring update, and we can move on to the next slide. If you're not familiar with why we exist, this is our mission statement to translate the science of everyday life for everyone in our communities to foster a healthy and prosperous Georgia. So that looks different in every community. So first and foremost, we try to get to know the community, talk to people, but also look at the data to see what we need to give reliable, impactful programs and initiatives. So that's why we exist, and we're happy to be here in Rockdale. We have 3 areas that we do this in for the next slide. The first is me. I'm the FACS agent, or Family and Consumer Sciences. That's Home Economics 2.0. We also have the 4-H program that Brittany Teets heads up, and then Agriculture and Natural Resources. So we support the farmers that are in Rockdale County, but also the homeowners who just want better grass or to grow roses or have a well that they have questions about. And so we are really serving whole families, whether it's one area or the whole area. So we used to exist to support the farmers' families, but obviously that looks different in a semi-urban community like ours. So we can go to the next slide. This is our office staff. So there's 9 of us. I'm very blessed to have a program assistant. She's new, Mikhail over there. She started with us in October. We also have a new ag agent who I'll introduce on the next slide. And then Director Teets has a team of 3. And then we have a wonderful admin who you'll probably talk if you call us. But I want to spend some time on the next slide on our crown jewel, which is a beautiful teaching kitchen at our new West Avenue location. The chairman had the privilege, I'm sure he thinks of it that way, to visit it yesterday and have lunch in our space. Many of our other county employees and Rockdale residents have had the joy of having classes in there too. There are 3 different stove stations. There's also 3 different prep tables, and there are now 5 cameras. So if you look really closely, you can see there's a TV on the wall. There's 3 TVs. You can see that cutting board is now being blasted onto the screen. But we also have the ability to do Zoom classes where it would be interactive. We can record for future things, or say we had a kids cooking competition. All the parents can't be in there, but the parents could be in another room in our office watching everything on the screens. You might see some familiar faces too with some county employees. We have quarterly lunch and learns where they get to actually come and cook their lunch, and then while they're eating, we'll talk about some of the nutrition and chronic disease elements in what they're eating, because I'm all about making it simple and kind of sneaking in the education in a fun environment. And so you can see some of the pretty tacos that we've made. We worked with public relations on their Go Red for Women Heart Healthy campaign and are looking forward to future partnerships there. So the next slide has some by the numbers things of what we've done in the kitchen just since the last time we reported to you last August. So we've had 14 different classes that were an hour or longer, and we are pretty equally split between what's a youth-focused class and what's an adult-focused class. So we've had Leadership Rockdale through, we've had canning classes, cooking classes, field trips from smaller school groups. So we've had almost 300 people come for that hour-long experience or longer. But then we also go out into the community. So whether we're at the senior center or an elementary school or Johnson Park or something, we know that if we're trying to get you to eat healthier and differently, if you had to prep it and buy it and it was expensive and you didn't know if you would like it or not, how much more impactful is it to try it and have your own taste buds tell you, and then we make sure to tell you how to do it, and that it's a low-cost recipe. So we are just so amped up to get to do what we do every day and try to change lives with healthy eating. The next slide is some of the other work that I do. So I kind of head up currently the Living Well Rockdale Health Coalition. And so Michael Hutchison with the Rockdale Coalition and I kind of brought that together. But one of the best things that we're doing is getting all these entities to speak on a regular basis, at least quarterly, if not in between, because we're all doing amazing things. Parks and Rec has great events. The health department has amazing assets. We have great classes, but people are looking in all different places and don't know how to get that information. So we're really focusing on how can we get a one-stop shop, kind of like a virtual Restoration Storehouse for healthy stuff. So whether it's what's going on in my community, or I was just diagnosed with diabetes and I don't know where to turn because it's so hard to find reliable information. So we're working on that and just raising the awareness of the great things we already have. But then if we see holes, taking our collective power to make new events with Living Well Rockdale together. So we are, if anyone is interested in getting involved, you're welcome to come to our next meeting, or we do just need kind of volunteers who would be willing to go to some of the amazing festivals we have and kind of table, because we don't have enough manpower to be at everything in addition to the work that we do in our 9-to-5s. The next slide is kind of, I wanted to talk about diabetes prevention and management. And so we are very, we have a lot of work to do in the realm of diabetes and heart disease and obesity. Our numbers are higher than the state average, unfortunately. But I want to share just a couple statistics about prediabetes. So 1 in 3 Americans is pre-diabetic, which means your sugars are elevated, but it's a reversible stage. So there's something you can do about it. But the craziest thing is that 9 in 10 people who are pre-diabetic don't know that they are. And that's the time where you can make a big change that might not be as big as you think it is. And so the stats say that if someone was to lose 5% of their body weight, so for a 200-pound person, that's 10 pounds. If you were to lose 10 pounds and start walking pretty regularly, you can cut your risk for getting diabetes in half. Or if you have diabetes, you can get much better blood sugar control and management to minimize those complications with those same steps. So Extension really focuses on that in a variety of ways. We always have a walkaway program right after people's New Year's resolutions start to fizzle. We get them at Johnson Park and get them on a good path. And so you can see some of the testimonials from the people who just finished with us at the end of March. We're also going to be focusing on diabetes-focused cooking classes for people who want more of a one-off experience, and that'll be kind of our October, November situation in the teaching kitchen. But then we are also launching the CDC-recognized Prevent T2 diabetes prevention program. So that is a year-long program, but it's only 26 hours over the whole course of a year. So people meet in a support group type of situation every week for a while, and then it gets a little bit farther out. But the beauty of that is that you get to see what it's like to go on vacation or go through Christmas and try to keep up your healthy eating and things like that. So we are not the only ones who do this program. The health department does it, but we are launching our first group in October, and I know that there's some interest in local churches and different pockets to maybe, my vision would be to get more lifestyle coaches, so maybe every other month we could have a new cohort going. So if you are in that realm, you want to make a change, you don't have to wait that long for a local opportunity to do so. So I encourage everyone to go to doihaveprediabetes.org, and you can take that quiz and see if you want to try to make those lifestyle changes. It's a quick little screener. So, just moving on to some other things. The upcoming events we have, if you want to get involved, obviously, is the Rockdale It's a Rainbow program at the local library. We promote it by color, so we're not doing squash, but Squash Week is not a very fun event. So we want you to come, and then we show you really tasty ways to eat the food of the week, and you get a few of those. Like if it was squash, you would get 3 squash to make the recipes at home, because both adults and kids don't always know that their taste buds might have changed. But we are trying to be very cognizant of how not everyone can come to the library at 10:30 on Wednesdays. So at the very least, we will have educational packets, taste test forms, recipes in the children's department. But if we happen to have extra produce, we'll leave it in a cooler there as well. So if you can come Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning, you're more likely to get that. We do have a community cooking class. So we have about 7 spots available in our Caribbean Nights cooking class. So that will all be healthy foods. So we always focus on getting more vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, things like that. So that's open to anyone in the community, and we'll have other ones in the fall, like I mentioned. And then if you would like to learn how to preserve your food, we have 6 canning classes coming up. 3 of them are in the evenings, and then 3 are going to be on Friday mornings. So maybe someone has a different schedule, they don't work on Fridays, or they're willing to take a long weekend to come have this experience to learn how to make pickled green beans. We are doing a pressure canning class, so the principles you would need to can vegetables, we're going to do a veggie soup as well. So we're excited about that, and there is lots of space available for now, but they will fill up. We had to turn people away last year, which is always sad, but a good problem to have. And then I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my other areas of the Extension Office. So this is our 13 youth who went to the District Project Achievement, which is the culmination of a year of work. Youth get to choose what area they want to explore, and they do a project and they present at Rock Eagle once a year. So we had 13 go and do different things I'm not sure. Anyway, I said the wrong thing, but we have kids in STEM programs, we have kids in performing arts programs, we have youth who cook at the competition. There's kind of anything and everything your child can explore their passion when they're still in school and get to really build on that. So we have 3 of our youth in the corner. They're going to state congress, which is the highest competition that we have. And if they win with their project again, they get to master in 4-H, which is the highest honor we bestow. I was told not to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, that it's almost like it's like an Eagle Scout equivalent in 4-H. I think people understand that that's a really big deal, and 4-H mastering is a really big deal. So we have 3 youth who have that opportunity in July.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And then we are always looking for getting more youth involved. And so we have multiple different opportunities for every youth who's currently a kindergartner up through 12th grade. We have at least 2 or 3 for every age group. And so you can see the whole program of what we have on which days. Those are all for a nominal fee. But it's at ugaextension.org/Rockdale, or you can call us on the phone, find it on Facebook, or visit our office. The first activity we have is 4-H Day at the movies. We'll be going to see the Little Mermaid movie, but we have like tubing and mini golf and arts and crafts. Some stuff is out and about and some stuff is in our office. But another part of the 4-H physical program that you could see is our recruitment week. So 4-H is free to join, and we have at least 1 monthly meeting every month of the school year. And we have that same age group covered. If you have a 3rd grader, a 5th grader, and a 10th grader, they can all come to the extension office on one night. One drop off, 2 hours to yourself. That's attractive to families, I would think. And so that recruitment week is in August, and then we'll give you the dates for the whole school year. And then last but not least, we have our A&R, or Agriculture and Natural Resources area. And so we have a new agent, Mackenzie Wheeler. She just started with us in February, and she just graduated with her master's, which was how I came to Rockdale County. So I'm excited for her to learn all the amazing connections she can have here. She's focusing a lot right now she's in training, otherwise I would have brought her with me. But she's doing social media education on Facebook, so she's always highlighting at least 2 posts a week about different pests or things she's getting calls about or things she might think is relevant to homeowners in Rockdale with bugs and plants and all that kind of stuff. They also have at least 1 lunch and learn a month, so it's a free seminar from expert speakers, so not that we're not experts, but not just us. And so we have one about landscape gardens and pollinators and native plants coming up later this month. And then the Master Gardener program is through our office as well. So they have plant sales. They run the Plant-A-Row for the Hungry Garden, which is right behind Restoration Storehouse. Since it was started, they've donated 25,000 pounds of produce to RER, and they're still doing that all the time. So if you want to see kind of all of their projects, a little bit more detail about them, the QR code goes specifically to their part of the extension website. But they have their own Facebook series as well. But I'm excited for them to be out and about a little bit more. They're doing info series at Cow and Ace Hardware on Saturday mornings when a lot of people are getting their things for their yards. So if you want to know when that is, you can always call our office or just stop by yourself at the hardware store and see if they're there. So that's kind of what we have.
Is that the hardware store down here?
On Green Street?
On Green Street? Mm-hmm. Okay, because
Yep.
they have another one in Honey Creek.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I believe it's the one on Green Street.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it for my A&R update. So I just wanted to show everyone that we are here for you. We're here to serve. We are in the West Avenue complex near the Board of Elections. There are the email addresses of all 3 extension agents, and we are trying to be as active as we can on social media too. So thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mary Beth, and thank you to all of the great work that you all are doing at UJ Extension and 4-H. All of the great information you just rattled off and all of that good energy and excitement. I did have the opportunity, as she stated, to visit the kitchen on yesterday and tour the whole facility. It is a state-of-the-art kitchen over there, a learning and very educational kitchen. And I've encouraged Mary Beth and Director Teets to connect even more with Director Mims and her team to promote that kitchen and all of the fantastic things they're doing. Commissioner Washington.
Well, you all know that I have been a frequent visitor at the 4-H Extension office. I've learned how to put up vegetables, and this year I'm determined to do a preserve class. So I learned how to do the preserves, and I've taken the cooking classes, and I've been to the rainbow meals as a matter of fact, I went one time and I had it was eggplant day, and we got free eggplant, and I don't know what made me get the eggplant and then go to the airport. But when I got back, I still had all this eggplant in the car. I was like, what in the world is this? Anyway, the children love it. They love that rainbow, eat a rainbow.
Yeah, Rockdale Eats a Rainbow,
It is
yep.
full. Like, when you go in, you cannot find a seat. You have to get there early. It's one of the hottest tickets in town. So I appreciate all that you all do, and I have a great time with 4-H Extension.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Williams?
So I love the extension service too. In fact, that's another thing I grew up with. And so while I come here, it brings back all kinds of memories with classes I took as a kid, and my mother getting information, and
That's wonderful.
how to grow fruit trees and all of that. So two things. One, I like to order my flowers and my perennials and my shrubs with the 4-H
Yes.
sale that they do in the spring, and then in the fall also. I've done both. And if I could just keep my husband from killing them, they're doing
It's
great.
your husband, sure.
Yeah, if you ever have questions about when to prune and all that stuff, that's the kind of thing that Mackenzie can answer questions about. And yes, we have 2 plant sales. We have a pre-order where you just pick it up, and then we have kind of the festival one that was on Earth Day too,
Yeah.
and then the fall.
Yes. And a week or two ago, when we were in Savannah at the ACCG conference, we went to get cheese sticks from cheese straws. Yes, cheese straws. But the lady asked us where we were from, and we said Rockdale, and she goes, "Oh, you guys have the best teaching kitchen ever."
Yes, we really do. I mean, the people from all over the state are bringing their county officials to see it because they're seeing what's possible, and they can see what it could do for their communities
Yeah.
too. So I'll keep you posted if we are a protege.
And I want to take a moment, too, to give credit to our very own director, Andrew Hammer. Let's give him a round of applause. Absolutely. Director Hammer is in charge of general services for Rockdale County, and a part of this whole come together, or collaboration, should I say, with UGA Extension and the fine vision that came through for this kitchen, this teaching kitchen, is part of the work of Director Hammer and his team. They do a phenomenal job restoring facilities and bringing buildings to life. So let's give it up again for Director Hammer.
Yes, I meant to say that, and I completely slipped my mind, but we would not have that facility without your vision. I know that you had it in your brain for many years until we could bring it to life. So we are very grateful and happy where we are.
Well, Mary Beth, keep up the good work, and we hope that you all are not only super excited, but super busy this summer.
We will be. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Oh, so many wonderful things happening in Rockdale County. We're all super excited, and I think myself and the commissioners are just as super excited to go to item number 4, and the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
I move to approve the agenda as published.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5, the approval of the minutes from April the 11th, 2023. Commissioners?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Unfinished business, item number 6.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 157, rezoning case 2023-04. An ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 2405 Southeast Salem Road, Conyers, Georgia 30094 from O&I to SCR-NC Salem Road Corridor Neighborhood Commercial for commercial development, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
So I move to approve the second reading with the County Board of Commissioners recommendations that the site shall be restricted to those within the neighborhood commercial zoning district, except that drive-through services and convenience markets shall be prohibited.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Voting nay on that one, so let the record reflect.
All right.
Motion carries. Item number 7 is consent agenda, and there is none. So I believe we're moving right on to the regular agenda.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and I will go through every item, and then I will stop to allow you to vote.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Item 162 is with Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated through the Fleet Services Division. This is for the fleet replacement plan for 4 Ford Explorers in the amount of $38,716.56 per year. This is host funded and submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 163 is with Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated through the Fleet Services Division. This is for the fleet replacement plan for 7 vehicle substitutions to deduct $3,658.32 per year, and this is submitted for ratification.
When do we ever vote on something that we're lowering the price?
At this very moment.
Those never happen.
I move to ratify the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
All right, item 164 is with Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated through the Fleet Services Division for the fleet replacement plan. This is for 2 2023 red Chevrolet Tahoes SUVs in the amount of $30,056.76 per year, and this is submitted for a ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments?
Is there a reason that they have to be red? I just want to know. Is it for the fire department? Seriously? So I didn't see that they were for the fire. Okay.
Well, I wanted the same thing,
Yeah.
since they're red.
So come on up,
I
Chief
didn't
Mack,
know.
and tell us
It
about
doesn't
these.
say that they're for fire.
Tell us about these
here.
red fire Tahoes.
But it doesn't say that for fire.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioners, it's so good to see you all this morning. Now, while I'm not sure why they have to be red, but that has been the history of the fire service from back in the day.
It doesn't say they're for fire in
But
any
they're
of
red.
this. But I didn't know the chair might have wanted a new red one so he could look like he's in the fire.
They're red.
I didn't know. Jennifer-
Are they for the fire department?
Yes, Madam Commissioner, they are. for the
Thank
fire
you.
So things that are understood does not have to be explained.
Now that we know that they're
Thank
for
you, Chief.
fire.
You're most welcome,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, sir. All right. It has been properly motioned and second. All in favor of the red Tahoes?
For the fire
For the
department.
fire
Fire
And it can't be for
Duly noted.
anybody else now that we've put that on the record.
I'm
They've
gonna
got to
place
be
it
for
on the
fire.
record.
Continuing the legacy and the history and the heritage of firefighting, the red Tahoes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
All right, keep this going. Item 165 is with Georgia Power through the General Services Department, an upgrade to the LED fixtures at the CE Steel Community Center parking lot in the amount of $95.97 per month.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Just a quick shout out about the CE Steel Community Center. It was a great ribbon cutting. The hats off to Parks and Recreation and General Services and the Board of Commissioners. If you've not, citizens, if you've not had an opportunity to drop by the newly renovated CE Steel building facility, you need to pay it a visit. For a long time, it was a different look, but Parks and Recreation and General Services have breathed new life on the CE Steel facility, and it is one of our rental facilities for folks who are looking for a place to rent out. So I just wanted to give a shout. This beautiful landscape over there, and what they've done with the facility is worth taking a look to see. And again, if you're thinking about having any type of event, you need to consider CE Steel. Absolutely. All right, next item, please.
All right, item 166 is with Kevin Price, General Contractors Incorporated through the General Services Department. This is for Fire Station Number 10 construction, in the amount of $3,654,000. The term is 365 days from the commencement, and this is SPLOST funded.
Commissioners, your pleasure.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions on the new fire station?
Well, we know that this is going to fire. The fire
Will it
station.
also be red?
It says
Is the
it in
building
here.
going to be red?
No, but in all seriousness, this is so much needed, and it's going to be so good for this county, especially on the northern part of Rockdale County, to have a fire station. And of course, this falls in the vision of us being the premier fire department on the east side. So I'm very excited about this fire station coming.
Commissioner?
So I was in some class at the ACCG conference, and they talked about ISO ratings and how you wanted to make sure that you were as low a number as possible. And this does exactly that. It will help lower our ISO rating, which is your insurance is based on, your fire insurance for your house is based on what the ISO rating is for your area. So it should lower insurance costs for everybody in the county.
Outstanding. It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. The groundbreaking is on the May 17th at 11:30 on Highway 138 North, the brand new fire station number 10. Don't miss it. That's going to be a big deal, particularly as stated for the folks in the Northern District of Rockdale County. Next item, please.
All right, item 167 is with Georgia Civil Incorporated through the General Services Department for the Architectural and Engineering Consulting Services. This is change order number 1 to contract 2021-50J. This is the hourly rates increase and to renew the term through April 26, 2024.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 168 is with Kornatzer and Associates Incorporated through the General Services Department for the Tennis Center lighting upgrades. It's change order number 2 to contract 2022-55. This is the change in design location due to the rock. It's an additional $3,514.40, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 169 is with Rockdale Plaza LLC through the General Services Department. This is for the letter of understanding for the lease for stormwater management and planning and development located at 1117 and 1119 West Avenue. Change order number 1 to contract 2022-120 to establish commencement date and prorated rent and the CAM charges as listed below. $1,369.86 for 1117 for the month of March. $2,465.75 for 1119 for the month of March. $281,096 for build-out costs. The end date of the lease is February 28, 2026.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 170 is with Prime Government Solutions Incorporated, also known as Rock Solid Technology Incorporated, through the Technology Services Department. This is for the Agenda Automation and Meeting Management Solution. The amount of $42,496 for the first year, and the subsequent years has a 5% annual increase. This is 3 years with auto renewal ratification and host funded, and I am very excited about this one.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I don't know, Jennifer,
Oh, my
about this. I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I do want to pause just for a quick moment to bring up Director Moore Jackson from our Technology Services Department to tell us a little bit more about the impact of what we've just decided.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Commissioner Washington, both of you. And basically what this will do is help to automate the entire process. Currently, the Board of Commissioners meeting every week. There's a lot that happens before we actually come into the meeting every Tuesday. The entire process right now is a manual process. This will actually automate the agenda itself, the crafting, the creating of the agenda, the management of the agenda, the voting, the recording of how you all vote will be automated. And then also it will have a Laserfish integration, and also it would incorporate the video streaming and everything into one process, as opposed to different fragmented manual processes.
Thank you to Director Moore Jackson and her team for bringing us continuously into the marvelous light. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Director. Next item, please.
Thank you. Item 171 is with Comcast Business through the Technology Services Department. This is for the new internet connection at the CE Steel Community Center. The amount of $430.92 per month for 60 months.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 172 is with Dell Marketing LP through the Technology Services Department for the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement. This is change order number 2 to contract 2020-72. This is a signature only and is at no cost.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 173 is with Indu LLC doing business as Integro Ag Zero Incorporated through the Technology Services Department. This is for the Managed Detection and Response Solution Services in the amount of $86,064. This is for 1 year with additional automatic 1-year renewals, and this is host funded.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 174 is with Canada Los Angeles Incorporated through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a location agreement for the use of Costley Mill Park for filming. The revenue is in the amount of $3,600. The date was March 16, 2023, and this is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 175 is with Canada Los Angeles Incorporated through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a location release for the use of Costley Mill Park for filming.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes. So is this related to the item we just voted on with the revenue? Because this doesn't say there's any revenue on it.
Director
Is this
Redmond.
like an MOU or something that says they can use this, or?
Good morning. Chairman, Madam Commissioners. I'm sorry, Commissioner Williams, what were you asking?
Okay, so on this particular one, it says it's a location release for filming, but there's no revenue. On 174, there was some revenue attached with that. So is this the same event? Or?
Yes, ma'am. So this is for the same production company. It was just a commercial that was filmed by Hyundai. They spent like a half day at the park. So when they film and give us the contract for the revenue, then they in turn send a location release stating that they returned our property the way they found it. So we have to submit that as well for signature to give back to them for their records.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Thank you so much. It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Okay, item 176 is with 20th Television through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a location agreement to use the courthouse for filming and parking. The revenue is the amount of $5,600. The dates were March 24th and March 25th, 2023, and these are submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 177 is with Academy Limited doing business as Sports Outdoors through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is in the amount of $4,000 revenue for a value sponsorship. This is for 1 year.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
So I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, as I was reading through this, under the recipient will provide the following sponsorship benefits to Academy. It says that the recipient shall provide logo placement on all other city events. Should that be county events or?
It's city county events. It's just the way their contract is written. They're just asking us to place their banners. We have a banner in Johnson Park Gym, and then we have one at one of the fields.
Okay, but it doesn't say anything about other county events.
I can have our representative go back to adjust that if need be. But it is referring, it's just a standard written contract the way that they have it, and they just use the word city instead of county. But if we need the word county, we can go back and ask them to correct that.
It just caught my eye because it's two different governmental
Yes, ma'am.
organizations.
Yes. So if you want to hold that, we can get that corrected. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Commissioner, you want to hold it?
No, let's approve it with
Okay.
the
We can make
condition
that
we
change.
get
I
that
can make that
changed.
change to the
change.
contract to add the word county.
Okay.
Don't want to hold it.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
I
we
can
will-
even place
we
it in
will-
the minutes as well,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Thank you, Director Redmond. We won't hold up the progress because of the word city or county, but we needed that clarification. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Where am I here?
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Next item, please.
All right, item 178 is with Court Makers Incorporated through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for the on-call tennis court resurfacing unit price contract for the crack repair at $14 per linear foot and resurfacing in the amount of $18,800 for the pair of courts, 1 year with 3 one-year renewal options.
And what's the amount of the resurfacing, Executive Director Rutledge?
So it's a unit price contract.
Okay.
So I think this is one, when they need to have something done, then they will call on the contractor. Is that correct? Or-
And this is for everywhere? This is not just at the tennis centers for
This is for all the courts in the
Okay.
county. So we have them on rotation to be resurfaced.
Thank
We have a schedule, so we follow the schedule. If court one is due in 2024, then that one gets done in
Okay.
2024. But we call them out as we see fit, and if we see cracks and need repairs, they also come out and do that as well.
Well, this is really good news because we receive a lot of, we have a very robust tennis community here in Rockdale County, and so it matters a lot to them. And we receive a lot of, myself and both of the commissioners, we receive a lot of feedback from folks who are participating out at our tennis courts about the conditions of our courts. And by you simply explaining the rotation and the priority, that makes much more sense in terms of how we respond to folks, and it puts it out there. So this is good. This is good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. It's been
We have to motion.
Say again?
With the motion.
It is, what's your pleasure, Commissioners?
Yes, that.
I say yeah. Aye.
We need a motion and then a second.
I'm so sorry. I move to approve this contract as presented.
All
I
right.
second that
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. We've heard comments. Are there any additional comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
All right, item 179 is with the Atlanta Regional Commission through the Senior Services Division. This is for the Transportation Voucher Program Grant in the amount of $58,080. The term is February 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2023, and this is submitted for ratification.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 180 is with Samantha E. Gilmore through the Fire and Rescue Department for Emergency Medical Services Instructor Program Director, an amount not to exceed $46,800 per year. This is for 1 year with option to renew 3 additional 1-year periods.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 181 is with the Rockdale County Public Schools through the Fire and Rescue Department. This is for the county to receive a donation of a 20-passenger international bus.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions?
Yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more about it and what it's going to be used for.
Okay, all right.
And
Chief-
if it's going to be painted red.
Yes, will it be red? That's the question.
Red will be on it somewhere. So as you know, thanks to you all, we have 36 new positions. But I have 180 personnel that do training from down, going to Social Circle, Georgia Forsyth with our recruits. So rather have them drive their personal cars or us try to use all our staff vehicles and trying to offset some of the funding, we wanted to receive a donation of a transport bus. So we don't just use it for our recruits, but anytime there's a need for a county need for a bus, we have that. So that's the primary purpose, is to transport our recruits.
In a school bus.
Sounds
A
good.
yellow school bus.
It will not be yellow.
Oh, okay.
It will have some red in it.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And thank you to the Rockdale County Public Schools for the donation and the partnership with Rockdale County Fire and Rescue. I do support what Chief Mack is saying about how to efficiently and safely get our recruits transported to the various different training locations, whether it's Gypstick or down at Social Circle and across the region. This certainly makes a whole lot of sense. And we say thank you to the Rockdale County Board of Education and all of those who were part of making this happen. Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Okay, item 182 is with Gwinnett Technical College through the Rockdale County Emergency Management Agency through the Animal Services Division. This is a memorandum of agreement at no cost for 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 1-year terms.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 183 is with Budget Vet LLC through the Rockdale County Emergency Management Agency Department through the Animal Services Division. This is for veterinarian services. This is a change order number 1 to contract 2021-94. It's an increase of unit cost and to renew the term through June 30th, 2024.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Item 184 is with E.R. Snell Contractor Incorporated through the Transportation Department. This is for the Sigmund Road Widening Phase 2 project. This is change order number 4 to contract 2021-35. It's an additional $19,738.20. This is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 185 is with the Julia Executive Search to the Talent Management Department. This is for the nationwide executive search for Chief Financial Officer, CFO, and Director level vacancies. It's at an 18% of the annual salary, and the term is 1 year.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 186 is with Georgia Time Recorder Company Incorporated through the Clerk of Court's office. This is for the annual preventative maintenance in the amount of $1,279.50. The term is July 1st, 2023 through July 1st, 2024.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 187 is with Tyler Technologies Incorporated through the Clerk of Court's office. This is to terminate the corrections mobility contract for the Sheriff's Office. This is change order number 7 to contract 2019-149, and it's a credit of $8,415.12.
I move to approve the contract and the receipt of $8,415
And 12 cents.
and 12 cents.
12 cents.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Item 188 is with the Daily Policy Group through the Board of Commissioners office. This is for federal legislative services. This is change order number 1 to contract 2022-52. It's in an annual amount of $96,000. The effective date is June 1st, 2023, and it's auto renewal for 2 additional 1-year periods.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 189 is with Teva Pharmaceuticals Industrial Limited. This is for the, also through Allergen Finance LLC, Walmart Incorporated, CVS Health Corporation, and CVS Pharmacy, and the Walgreen Company through the Board of Commissioners office. This is a memorandum of understanding to memorialize an agreement between the state and certain Georgia local government entities that will enable them to maximize the monetary funds received from the opioid settlements. This is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions regarding this item?
So do we have any idea of how much Rockdale County will receive in that settlement? And as I was reading through everything last night, it didn't, it kept saying for appropriate uses, but it didn't specify what those appropriate uses were. I mean, I can imagine what they are, but, so do we have more documentation on that, or?
Chief Sanders or Attorney Begg, you want to speak to address this issue? Good morning.
Opioid settlement is kind of an ongoing process. We're kind of been aware of kind of general numbers, but I don't know if finance has any greater numbers than we have at this point in time. The discussion really has been about how the communities are going to participate, not only in the settlement, but also how the restricted uses are going to be applied. But I think that's not well defined enough for me to give you an answer at this point in time. I can say as recently as yesterday, we received more documentation that we're kind of continue to sift through to continue our eligibility to participate in the settlement, but without the greater details of knowing what the settlement's going to involve. But I think as we learn more, we can certainly share that with the board.
So I know that when the settlement occurred at the federal level, the money was distributed to the states, at least it was in Georgia.
Correct.
And then Georgia will distribute it out to the counties that participated in
Yes, there was some hesitation in Georgia between how that was going to be distributed to the counties and the cities, and there wasn't a formal agreement with the Attorney General and within the state. And I think that's what our attorneys have been working on, and I believe they've achieved a decent working foundation upon which we'll learn more as time progresses.
Okay. So this is just kind of a preliminary thing
Correct.
with no
It's ongoing, and
specifics yet.
I think we'll be addressing this many more times before monies are transferred.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. County Attorney. It's a work in progress is what I'm really hearing here. All right.
So you had a motion and a second.
I got a motion and a second, and thank you for keeping me on track. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Look, we have a long agenda.
Yes,
so,
we
you
do.
know-
I
Okay,
know.
so item 190 is with Burnett Lime Company Incorporated through the Water Resources Department. This is for the CalFlow lime slurry in the amount of .076 per pound, per liquid pound, making it a total of $83,904 for 2 years with 12 months with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. It's a long agenda. We had a long break, and we got work to do. So next item, please.
Yes. Item 191 is with the City of Conyers through the Board of Elections Office to conduct the City of Conyers general municipal elections in the amount of $19,470 per year. This is for a 10-year agreement unless canceled by either party within 120 days with prior written notice.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 192 is a requisition through the General Services Department for the Brown Bridge Dock Company for the Lorraine Park Kayak Launch Gangways and the Easy Dock Kayak Launch in the amount of $186,437.64, and this is SPLOST funded.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 193 is a requisition through the General Services Department for JLJ General Contractors for the Lorraine Park Kayak Launch Platforms and Piers in the amount of $84,242.95, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 194 is a requisition through the General Services Department for the game time care of Dominica Recreation Products for the playground for CE Steel Community Center in the amount of $25,225.24, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 195 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Beatty Construction Incorporated for the demolition of 943 Court Street and 945 Court Street in the amount of $91,920. This is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this requisition as presented.
I second that
It's
motion.
been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next item, please.
Item 196 is a requisition through the General Services Department for the Matrix Engineering Group for Fire Station Number 10, material testing and special inspection services in the amount of $35,550. This is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 197 is a requisition through the General Services Department for United Maintenance Incorporated to install cooling system for the server room at the new EMA/911 facility in the amount of $30,544, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 198 is a requisition through the General Services Department for DAF Concrete to resurface asphalt at the recycling center in the amount of $99,960.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 199 is a requisition for the water treatment plant through ESG Operations Incorporated for the exterior renovation specification of water tank at the Lenora Church tank site in the amount of $51,300.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions on this one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 200 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for ACOM for design services in the amount of $99,987.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item 201 is a requisition through the Code Enforcement Office, through the Code Enforcement Division of Planning and Development for the Motorola Solutions for 17 radios in the amount of $54,516.16, and this is host funded.
I move to approve the requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor? Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 202 is a requisition through the Transportation Department for Atlas Technical Consultants LLC for the conceptual design for the paving of Flat Shoals Road from Klondike Road to Honey Creek Road in the amount of $22,130.
I'm sorry. I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any comments or questions?
Is this my road, Director Kelly? Yep, so, I am so glad to see this on the agenda. We have a very robust set of citizens that contact me at least weekly regarding their desire to have this road paved. So I am so glad to see this here. Thank you, Transportation Department, for all of your hard work. I am thrilled is an understatement, but it is needed, definitely needed, and I think that the amount of education that you all have had to do to the citizens, that you can't, what they thought is that the road needs to be paved and we could just go out there and pave it. They didn't think that we had to do the engineering and all the things that have to be done to pave a road. And Director Kelly has been amazing at talking to the citizens, letting them know, keeping them apprised of what was going on. So I appreciate all of your hard work, but I am so glad to see, and this is just the technical part, but this is the beginning, so I am so glad to see this.
Outstanding.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Real quick, I do want to say congratulations to Commissioner Washington for being responsive to the citizens along the Flat Shoals corridor on the western corridor of Rockdale County. They have reached out to her. She's engaged with them on a regular and frequent basis. And again, a big round of applause to Director Kelly and his team. He went through rounds and rounds of educating the citizens. We do not have a transportation department that can just go and redo a dirt road that's been dirt since the 1800s. It takes a lot of engineering and it takes a lot of time and resources, and of course there's a cost involved. So thank you to Commissioner Washington for working with our local citizens, but thank you to Director Kelly and his team for the great work that they've done to educate and to expedite this project and make it happen on behalf of the citizens. I think citizens are so appreciative when they know that we can return a phone call or a text message or an email or simply show up and be responsive to their inquiries. Citizens are understanding that we can't just snap a finger and make things happen and fall out of the sky, and it takes time. So Commissioner Washington, you're to be commended for working with them and engaging with them and allowing our transportation director and his department to lead the way. So let's give them a round of applause for that. Executive Director Rutledge, where am I on this thing?
So we voted and we're on to the next item.
Okay, next item, please.
So, item 203 is a requisition with EMA Department for the Jackson Creek Manufacturing Incorporated for the animal adoption trailer in the amount of $58,771.50, and this is host funded.
I move to approve the requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 204 is a requisition through Technology Services for Dell Marketing LP. This is a 3-year contract in the amount of $2,248,101.18, and this is host funded for 1 year.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions?
Well, of course, we need to know what a $2 million item exactly is, what it entails.
Director Moore Jackson.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. And yes, that $2.2 million is to cover 3 years, and basically this is for our Office 365, of which we currently have Office 365 in our environment. However, this, with the host funding that we're receiving for the first year, will actually increase our coverage and taking us from the government enterprise of level 3 to the government enterprise of level 5, which will basically increase and lay a stronger foundation for security with it throughout our network. And of course, I think you're all familiar with all of the Office 365 software like Outlook and Word and Excel and everything, and this is supplying that for the computers throughout the entire county for both the departments and the elected officials.
Thank you, Director. And we
Thank
certainly
you.
want to do everything we can to continue to increase our security of our network. Thank you so much. All right, okay.
We're on to the next item now.
Next item,
All right.
please.
Item 205 is a requisition through Technology Services for Law and Order Technology LLC for laptops and docking stations in the amount of $49,493.78, and this is host funded.
I move to approve the requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 206 is a requisition through the Sheriff's Office for HD2 emergency lighting for emergency equipment for vehicles in the amount of $134,436, and this is SPLOST funded.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 207 is a requisition through the Fire Rescue Department for Motorola Solutions. This is for mobile radios and new emergency vehicles in the amount of $16,587.68.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 208 is an expenditure request for Envelopes and Forms Incorporated, also known as SureBill, through the Tax Assessor's Office. This is for postage for the mailing of the Notice of Assessments in the amount of $20,054. This is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this request as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Those red Tahoes got to have radios in them in emergency. I'm sorry. I was trying to, but
You were trying to keep
I was
a
trying to
straight
keep
face.
it, but
I know.
It's hard.
yeah, those.
Well, my question
you can't
is-
just have the red truck. It's got to have some kind of communication and a light on it somewhere to get to where it's trying to go.
Oh, so we
So I
I
want,
feel better that I got that out.
coordinate.
so my question is, do these mobile radios, are they red?
Well, they will be now, right?
Well, the equipment will turn on the red light. Is that right? Okay. Next item, please.
We're good.
Oh my gosh. Item 209 is an expenditure request through Techwell Services through the Water Resources Department. This is for parts for the pump replacement in the amount of $44,492.81.
I move to approve this request as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 210 is an expenditure request for Tyler Technologies for the Clerk of Superior Court for the SAAS agreement for 4 years in the amount of $309,180.70.
I move to approve this request as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 211 is a request to surplus equipment through several departments: Accountability Lab Service, Technology Services, General Services, the Sheriff's Office, and Juvenile Court.
I move to declare these items as surplus as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 212 is text amendment case 2023-01, an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County, Georgia, for the purpose of bringing the UDO into compliance with the zoning procedures law as concerns as it relates to multifamily housing options, to expand those options, to foster investment in multifamily housing, to provide extensive public notice, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading. I just wanted to let the board know that this is as a result of the last General Assembly session, something that we had to put in place prior to, I believe it's July 30th. So this will now enter the public hearing process.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 213 is text amendment case 2023-02, an ordinance to amend the text of section 218-13, the standards of use and development of the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County as amended for amusement arcades, amusement theme parks, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 214 is special use permit case 2023-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended to authorize a special use permit for a rodeo and outdoor facility at 275, 385, and 460 West High Tower Trail, Conyers, Georgia 30012, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 215 is rezoning case 2023-06, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 4 parcels at 0 Northeast Clark Street, Northeast Bermuda Drive, 0 Northeast Clark Street, and 0 Southeast Salem Road from R1 Single Family Residential to M1 Limited Industrial, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading.
I move to approve the first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 216 is with the Williams Companies Incorporated. This is an approval for a letter of no objection for the Water Resources Department for Tall Oak Sewer Replacement Project for the Salem Gate area between Old Salem Drive and Irish Drive.
I move to approve this request as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, item 217 is a list of Rockdale County policies for consideration. The first one is information technology purchasing policy. Item B is hardware support policy. Item C, generic account policy. Item D is our email policy. Item E is acceptable use policy. F will be internet use policy. G, security awareness training policy. H, printer policy. I, password reset policy. And J, non-disclosure confidentiality of sensitive information agreement policy.
I move to approve these policies as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Let me just make a quick comment that I want to commend Director Moore Jackson and her team, along with the executive leadership team, for leading the way with these policies. And Director Moore Jackson, yes, come on up, because this is so important that we protect the network of Rockdale County. Having these policies in place governs both us, primarily internally as well as externally, with what we allow in. Tell us more about it.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Basically, these policies, some were in place but extremely outdated, and others are new policies. And for the most part, this will help just ensure that our cyber hygiene for the county is up to date. And basically, it lays the groundwork to make sure that we're doing everything in uniform and everything in accordance with industry standards. Do you need a highlight for any of the policies, sir?
No, I think that just the overview that you're presenting, and I think the importance of knowing the backdrop, basically what you said, Director, about why we have to continuously improve and upgrade and protect our infrastructure when it comes to technology. The question, Commissioner, is never if, but is always when we're going to have a threat to our technology system. We've already experienced that, as the three of us know, here in Rockdale County. But we have to have leadership that has the vision to continue to put practices and protocols in place to make sure that we safeguard the county so that we're not shut down and we're not in a super vulnerable situation. And again, thank you, Director Moore Jackson, for your leadership and what your team is doing, because you've taken us to a whole different level in terms of security awareness. The one that really stands out to me, all of these are important, but item number G, the security awareness training policy. It is so important that each and every elected official and all department directors throughout the county understand just how important this is. If we click on the wrong thing and we invite a virus into our system, you can shut the county down. So this is very serious and very important. We have to have these policies in place. Not only having the policies in place, Chief Sanders, but we also have to make sure that we enforce those policies, Executive Director Holmes, so that we can practice what we preach. Thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting all the policies.
Yes, ma'am. Next item, please.
All right, item 218 is a resolution authorizing Rockdale County Fire and Rescue to form a mutual aid resource pact, which shall be a public corporation, to render and receive aid and assistance for disastrous incident suppression, prevention, and rescue medical responses to, from members of the Georgia Mutual Aid Group.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I move to approve this contract as presented.
The resolution. I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned.
Oh, sorry.
Are there any questions or comments about the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Read the wrong
Are you with me?
I read the wrong
Are you
one. I'm
with me?
sorry.
Okay, just
There
want
was
to
a
make sure
lot
you're with me.
going
That's okay. All right. All right. Next item, please.
Item 219 is with the Fulton County Public Safety Training Center through the Sheriff's Office. It's a memorandum of understanding for the county to donate a 2005 Ford Crown Victoria.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions about the 2005 Ford Crown Victoria?
No.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Absolutely. Okay, next item, please.
Item 220 is the appointment of the Director of Planning and Development, Ms. Juliana Njoku, and this is submitted for ratification.
Come on up, Executive Director Holmes. Absolutely. Wake you up a little bit.
I know. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Chairman, Madam Commissioners. Director Njoku comes to us with over 25 years of experience in public administration, planning and development, economic development, and process improvement as a Six Sigma Green Belt. She has multiple certifications, including a graduate certification from Harvard University in sustainability and innovation, as well as a bachelor's degree in government and politics from the University of Maryland. She has served as a strategic consultant with both private and public entities. She also worked with the Atlanta Housing Authority, as well as the city of Indianapolis, serving in many capacities, as well as an assistant city administrator, a city administrator. She worked with Public Works, and she worked as strategic planning and development initiatives for the city of Indianapolis. At this time, I would like to bring up our new director, Director Njoku of Planning and Development. Director Njoku, come on.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm really honored to be able to join the wonderful people here at Rockdale County. Despite all the things that I've done, most of all, I'm really humbled to be a part of a city that's emerging. I'm super excited about Rockdale. The vision that you guys have for the county is really quite outstanding, and you guys are sitting in a really great position to do so. It is my hope that myself, with the planning team, will be able to add value, to be able to bring things together, to make sure that we have a comprehensive view of what the county will look like, making sure that it meets the needs for each one of the directors are here, between transportation to waterworks, so that we can further serve the citizens in a more efficient way. So I'm hoping that my performance management background, my strategic planning background, and my desires to see people served well with strong people strategies that are connected to place-based strategies will allow the county to be able to see the growth and the vision that the chairman has already in place with the commission here. So my desires along the way is just to continue to add value and to be able to answer any additional questions that you guys may have. And I do have a special spot for Flatshaw. I ran a non-for-profit dealing with workforce development and workforce housing. And during the pandemic, what most people didn't realize is that in order for you to get rental assistance, it required you to have a lease. But on Flatshaw Avenue, most of the extended stays were filled with families. So myself and many of the other commissioners and county police officers serviced many of the extended stays, got buses to go to extended stays during the pandemic, went to deal with, and our main primary service area was on Flatshaw. So I was on Flatshaw quite a bit to make sure that those families' rents were paid and to make sure that those children had the needs necessary, as well as to connect those families with the educational programs so they can find a way to have sustainable living wages. So I'm hoping that my economic background and my strategic planning background will add value to the county, and I'm humbled to be in this position. Is there any questions?
Director Njoku, let me say welcome again. Let's give her another round of applause. We are super excited to have you join the ranks of our team here in Rockdale County. Our planning and development staff has really already embraced your onboarding, and we're excited about the collaboration between you and Director Tim Holtz and our Deputy Director Chris Wheeler and the entire staff. You coming in at a great time because, as you know, our planning and development department is in transition, and we're in transition in a very positive way. A lot of things, as you've already stated, are happening in Rockdale County, and everything touches planning and development. Commissioners, I want to yield to you, Commissioner Washington.
Well, welcome. Very impressed with the resume. I was impressed even reading it. As the chair has said, we are moving fast. We're in the middle of a comprehensive plan. We're in the middle of we'll be beginning a strategic plan. We have economic development initiatives, definitely a lot of housing issues and initiatives that need to be started. Definitely want to look at sustainability and planning. Just planning and development is going to be the hot ticket item over the next couple of years. So put your seatbelt on because it's going to be a lot of work that we have going on.
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you. So welcome. It was nice to meet with you last week for the first time, and I'm excited to have you here also. You know, we discussed the fact that housing and zoning issues have been really front and center in the last year or two.
Yes.
And will continue to be. And so that's why this comprehensive land use update plan is going to be so important in identifying specific areas for different types of housing.
Yes.
Because we know we need some other types of housing. We know there's gaps in our housing. So I'm looking forward to having you on board, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Director, one of the things that was quite impressive to me during the meet and greet was your commitment to civic engagement. When you talked about making sure that citizens have a level of understanding, and you acknowledge that the whole world is changing, and that a lot of citizens haven't totally embraced the change simply because of a lack of knowledge. And Commissioners, when Director Njoku talked about civic engagement and really taking a step-by-step approach to educating and informing the citizens, that really caught my attention right there, because from a planning and development standpoint, all of the new growth and changes and what's coming from 1975, 85, 95, and 2005, the world is changing. And a lot of folks don't like change, or they don't know how to embrace the change. The director talked about civic engagement, continue the efforts of educating and informing our citizens. That really caught my attention. I think that we're moving in the right direction, adding value to the team that we currently have. So again, let's give her a round of applause. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
We're going to close out this vote in just a second, but right before we do, I want to acknowledge also in our Planning and Development Department, our Interim Director, Mr. Tim Holtz. Tim, would you please stand? And our Deputy Director, Chris Wheeler, would you please stand? Let's give them. Thank you so much. These two gentlemen, along with our Executive Director, Executive Director Jennifer Rutledge, have held up the bloodstained banner in the Planning and Development Department. That's right. They've held it up. They've kept the lights on. They've kept up with the growing trends and the development. In addition to that, I want to make mention of what we've done in our Public Relations Department with the info sessions to continue to educate and inform our citizens about the growth and the processes and the changes in our community. Again, Director Njoku talked about what's really good for Rockdale County, what's a good fit, and what's not good for Rockdale County. She also made mention of watching the infrastructure trends to make sure that we're keeping up with our water and sewer capacity, and talked about the infrastructure of roads. When she came in talking about those things, all of that came full circle in terms of her vision for planning and development. So hats off to everyone. Thank you again to Mr. Tim Holtz, Chris Wheeler, and of course to Executive Director Jennifer Rutledge for holding up that bloodstained banner on behalf of Rockdale County and the Board of Commissioners to keep our county moving continuously forward now and in the days ahead. We have a motion on the floor.
Actually, no.
No
So we
motion.
need a motion.
Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Is it me?
What?
I move to ratify this appointment as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Let's give the director another round of applause. Next item, please.
All right, item 221 is a quitclaim deed to the Board of Commissioners Office for Pine Log Road Bridge. It's a road abandonment and it's submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this deed as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 222 is with Serenity House of Atlanta Ministries Incorporated through the Board of Commissioners Office. This is a local government approval for Emergency Solutions Grant Program. It's a grant application that's being submitted in the amount of $70,000, and it's submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this grant application as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? Can I get somebody to tell me a little bit more about Serenity House, please?
Actually, yes. Commissioner, did you want to take it or do you want? Okay.
Well, I can say what I know. Serenity House has been around for a while in Rockdale County, and it sits right on our western edge. Part of their housing is in Newton County, part of it's in Rockdale County. They service both counties. And they provide housing for homeless people, okay? And it's really rather nice housing. I've been out there. It's been a number of years, but I've been out there. They've been around for a long time. They actually have a ministry in Atlanta, and that's been around a really long time. In this application for emergency housing funds, they have those funds already for Atlanta, but they wanted some for Rockdale.
Okay.
And it's through the Department of Community Affairs. They required government approval for their acceptance of these funds. We will not receive these funds. It will go to them, but DCA required it. So I guess so that they know we're aware of where those funds are going.
So it is, in order for any of the recipients to receive any of the funding, the local governing authority has to sign off on it. So that's all that we're doing, and we have to put it as part of the minutes and make sure that it's preserved.
Very good. And thank you, Commissioner Williams, and thank you, Executive Director Rutledge. I was well aware. I just wanted to make sure that the general public knew about Serenity House. We often get a lot of concerns about homeless moving in and around Rockdale County and the city of Conyers, and this is another way to let folks know that we are addressing it and that we do have a partnership with a long-standing organization that has been around for quite some time. And I must say that they do a great job. As the commissioner pointed out, they have a greater footprint in the city of Atlanta, but here in the eastern I-20 corridor between Rockdale and Newton, they also have a presence, and they're making their presence well known and assisting a good number of people who have been homeless for a while, and for some of those who have recently become a part of the homeless population. So thank you. We just want to bring that information to the general public.
They work also with what's the name? The discharge planner at the jail. And they are one of the providers that can provide a housing placement.
Very good. Very good. All right.
On to the next item.
Did we?
We did.
Okay. All right. Next item, please.
We can do it again.
All right.
I mean, okay. Item 223 is a resolution of the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners to accept the withdrawal of rezoning case 2022-09 without prejudice and to waive the 12-month prohibition on subsequent amendment applications on the subject site.
I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 224 is with Snapping Shoals EMC through the Transportation Department. This is for the government security light to install 10 street lights along McCullum Road in the amount of $214 per month.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? At this time, I'm going to ask that Director Kelly would come up. Commissioners, as he's coming up, we received a good number of inquiries from the 30, just a little under 40 residents over on McCullum Road. Those average age of those residents are around about 72 to 75 years old. There was a time in Rockdale County where there was street lights on McCullum Road. I don't know what happened, and I didn't focus on what happened. What we wanted to do is bring lights which will bring security. The work of our Public Relations Department by way of our Civic Engagement Coordinator, Ms. Katrina Carter, she literally got out on the ground and went door to door to assist the residents on McCullum Road with moving forward with the required petition to get this started. Then there comes Director Kelly. Director Kelly, tell us about what you're doing.
So, good morning, Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, and Chairman. So, currently, we're coordinating with Snapping Shoals. This program has a history in Rockdale, so we work with them to bring those lights. Of course, you already discussed the past history. Currently, this action will bring us into the current contract, the up-to-date. These will be LED lights that are going to be installed. So this is a new contract. So all those past ones will be gone. And then as soon as we get this out to them, we'll get that back. It'll be signed. And then there's we work with them already to get the materials that are already in stock in their warehouse. So from that, we'll coordinate their manpower. About 10 days is what we're looking at. And those will be, you'll see boots on the ground in about 10 days.
Director Kelly, I want to say thank you to you, Director Mims and Ms. Carter out of Public Relations and the executive leadership team, including Executive Director Will Barkley and their whole team that really rallied behind this effort. Again, this is being responsive to the citizens of Rockdale County. This senior population of folks that live out on McCullum Road in the Southern District of Rockdale County near Heritage High School, security and lighting is very, very important. But to be able to expedite, there's been some issues, and this is one of those responses that we've made. And I think it's important that folks know that not only that, a very nominal fee to install these lights and get them up and activated on a monthly basis is going to be a very small impact on the citizens. You really can't put a price on security and a price on safety, particularly for our senior population. So hats off to the folks out on McCullum Road. And again, thank you to all of our leadership team that expedited this project. We're making a big deal out of this, so you'll hear more about it when we get ready to install these lights and get them lit up out there on McCullum Road and bring them into where we are today in a more safe and secure environment. Let's give them a round of applause. Absolutely. Thank you, Director. Now.
So we had a motion and a second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. The lights are on McCullum Road. Next item, please.
Item 225 is a resolution providing for the installation of street lights and the assessment of the annual cost of maintaining and operating said lights against abutting property.
I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 226 is a quitclaim deed. It's a corrective deed to change the name of a grantee to St. Pius LLC to St. Pius Properties LLC. This is submitted for ratification.
I move to ratify this deed as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 227 is a resolution declaring an additional temporary county holiday on Monday, July 3rd, 2023.
I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions about this temporary county holiday?
No, but all the employees are going, yeah, it sounds great.
All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries. All right. Next item, please.
Item 228 is a resolution allowing for an increase in the per diem compensation for the Rockdale Judicial Circuit part-time magistrate court judges to better align with the market in providing a fair and competitive salary.
I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions?
Is this related to the bill that went through the state legislature?
Executive Director Holmes?
Yes, good afternoon. And no, Madam Commissioner, this particular resolution is specifically about the per diem rate for our part-time magistrate court judges.
Oh, that's right.
So it has nothing to do with the bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
All right, last one. Item 229, a resolution allowing for the allocation of supplemental compensation for the Rockdale Judicial Circuit Court reporters in Superior Court to better align with the market and providing a fair and competitive salary supplement.
I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, the Executive Director Rutherford Holmes is standing by just in case.
Okay.
Just in case, I'm here.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Executive Director Holmes. Executive
we're down
Director
to
Rutledge, I
public
think
comment.
we're down to public comment now.
I don't have any part, I see one out in the audience there.
All right.
I will begin to read if you would.
All right, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because I haven't read enough. All right. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you, Executive Director Rutledge. Ms. Gillett, come on up. Ms. Charlotte.
Thank you and good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Today I'm wearing my Friends of the Library hat. The Friends of the Library are volunteers that give their time to support the library, and I want to piggyback on what Britt and Dolores and Megan said today. This month marks the first anniversary that the Friends Used Bookstore has reopened after the renovation and COVID in our new location on the upper level. And in addition to our monthly second Saturday sales from 10 to 2, the bookstore is also open every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 to noon. Today you wouldn't have been able to go because it's afternoon. Most hardbacks are $2 and most paperbacks are $1. We have a sale room where you can get 5 items for $1. We have fiction, romance, mysteries, sci-fi, fantasy, nonfiction, health, diet, cookbooks, history, business, pets, hobbies, and many more. We have African American authors and Georgia authors, as well as records, music, CDs, DVDs, and rare books, coffee table books, textbooks, reference books, and children's books. And these are all items that have been donated to the library. And the library accepts used donations in good condition, and what they don't donate to other partners goes to the Friends for resale. And the money that we raise goes back to the library for things that are not in their budget. For those that don't know where the library is or are new to the community, the library is located at 864 Green Street, across from the Welcome Center and the train depot. And in February, the Friends of the Library donated $15,000 to the library for their wish list. You can like us on Facebook at Friends of the Nancy Gwynn Library for special features that we have each month. Thank you.
Ms. Gillett, thank you, and thank you all for all that you do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. And I must add that Ms. Charlotte Gillett has been a champion for our local library for many, many years. She's been a part of that board and been very vocal in supporting literacy and the fact that reading is fundamental. I want to say thank you for all of your dedication and time. Let's give Ms. Charlotte Gillett a round of applause. Thank you so much. That was the only one I had. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or we'll go to board comment. Commissioner Washington.
Well, I don't have a lot. I'm looking at the time. I don't have a lot. So, my very first thing, we have 2 activities. Of course, today is the second Tuesday of the month, so the East Metro Business Network, we are doing the small business mixer. It is at Frozen Notes, right on the corner. I don't know the address, but it's right on the corner across the street from the courthouse. So come out from 6 to 9 if you own a small business in the city or the county, and network and promote your business. The second thing I'm doing with Judge Culpert is we're doing a veterans seminar on the PACT Act. It's a new legislation. We have people from the Georgia Department of Veterans Affairs coming to talk about the PACT Act, how it affects you, and your ratings, and how to go ahead.
PACT Act? Is that
PACT Act.
PACT Act.
P-A-C-T. PACT.
What does that stand for?
I don't. That's what they're telling me it's called. PACT Act.
PACT Act.
Right, and it's the new legislation and the new ways that just how to possibly increase your ratings with the Department of Veterans Affairs. So that's going to be this Friday at 6 o'clock at JP Carr. So I'm excited about both of these endeavors, especially the one with the PAC, discussing the PAC. Finally, Sunday is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all your mamas and mothers and grandmothers and G-moms and even us big mamas. So happy Mother's Day, and that's all I have.
All right, Commissioner Williams.
Okay, so I learned something new. I gotta go research that PACT Act.
I just texted it to you. I just texted it over to you, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So May is Mental Health Month, and the Mental Health America has put together a whole toolkit of things, activities and ideas and key messages. I'm not going to go through all the key messages, I'm just going to highlight one. And the first one is housing stability and home environment. And this is something that we have been talking about in Rockdale for some time now. It says having safe, stable, and healthy home conditions set the foundation for achieving and maintaining good mental health. For many people, not having a true home base to consistently return to can leave them feeling distressed, disconnected, or isolated. Stable housing allows individuals to develop routines and connections to their local community, which are beneficial for mental health. Wherever you call home, it should give you feelings of comfort, support, and calmness. If not, there are things you can do to your space to help you be more productive, reach your goals, and improve your mental health. And that is, we know that having stable housing is just extremely important. If you're worried about where you're going to sleep that night or where you're going to be, or, are they, if you're living with a family member, are they going to tell you to leave at any time and you're not sure where to go? That creates a lot of stress and anxiety and aggravates not only mental health issues, but it can aggravate addiction issues also. So as we work with our new director, one of those things we'll be looking at holistically is stable housing for those who are in need of assistance with stable housing. Because we know that it can really make a difference in their quality of life, but their mental and physical health as well. Secondly, because it is Mental Health Month, May 19th, which is a Friday, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Stepping Up Initiative is hosting a Peace Under the Pavilion. It's the second annual event, and they will have, I've got that, it's in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. Join us for a holistic approach to recovery and wellness through yoga, meditation, and more. And nutrition will be part of that. As Mary Beth was giving her report, I thought about nutrition is extremely important in maintaining good mental health. Doesn't seem like it's related, but it is. It's part of wellness, mental wellness, and physical wellness. So that is down here at the Pavilion on Main Street, the Randall S. Mills Pavilion, from 6 to 9 on May 19th. So join us for that.
All right. Wow. And before I get into my few comments, I want to play an episode of the Grab the Bill by the Horn. Our government affairs director, executive director, Jennifer Rutledge, a part of her annual assignment is to have a strong partnership with all of the legislators here in the state of Georgia, and of course our national representation as well. But this is something we've been doing, featuring for the last few years. Play the video, please.
I'm Jennifer Rutland, Executive Director of Government Affairs for Rockdale County, and you're watching Grab the Bill by the Horns. Today we're going to be talking about the state legislative process. The legislative session in Georgia usually starts in January and wraps up after 40 legislative days. During those 40 days, a flurry of bills are introduced and debated. The delegation looks at them and then decides which ones will make it further, which ones will go to committee, which ones will be heard, and which ones will be put forward for next year or just stop. On the 28th legislative day of each legislative session, there is a crossover day. At that point, if bills make it past that crossover day, they have more likelihood of passing. If they don't, they generally do not get passed. However, the legislative session is held in 2-year sessions so that there's a possibility that if the bill doesn't make it over to crossover day, it could pop back up in the second year. The end of the legislative session is known as sine die, and it has to be adjourned before 11:59 p.m. on this 40th day. Once sine die is complete, all the bills passed through the General Assembly then go to the governor's office. If the governor does nothing, the bills are approved. If the governor signs them, the bills are approved. But if the governor vetoes them, it has to go back again to another legislative session. On another episode of Grab the Bill by the Horns, we will discuss a few bills that did pass. So I hope you will also tune in for that, but even more importantly, I would really like for every Rockdale County resident to stay informed and to educate themselves on the legislative process so that they have a say in their government. Please stay in contact with your delegates and representatives and keep them informed because your representatives really do want to hear from you. If you want to contact your representatives, you can go through the voter registration process on our website, put in your address, and then you can find out who your representatives are. If a citizen would like to track a piece of legislation, I think the best way to stay with the current information would be to log on to the State of Georgia General Assembly website. There, you can track bills. You can also watch live stream of the House and Senate and of the committee meetings. Thank you for watching today. And remember, an engaged citizenry can always help to grab the bill by the horns.
All right. Give her a round of applause.
She's a star.
Yeah, she is a star. She's our star. And I know those other counties are just as jealous as they want to be. And I'm glad about it. Absolutely. We thank you to our Government Affairs Director, Executive Director Rutledge, for the fine work that you do, keeping us abreast, engaging with all of our state representatives and state senators, and staying on the cutting edge of what's happening down at the Gold Dome, the state capitol here in the state of Georgia. But it's not limited to just Capitol Avenue here in Atlanta. She also is constantly engaged with what's happening on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., with our federal lobbyists and making sure that Rockdale County not only has a seat at the table, but a voice in the room. With us being the second smallest county geographically in the state of Georgia, we must have clear representation so that we don't get left behind. There's so many we're part of the metropolitan area. There's so many bigger counties. And if we don't have clear representation that's there, making sure that we're watching out and looking out on behalf of Rockdale County, we can easily be left behind. So thank you, Executive Director Rutledge. We look forward to that next episode, a next edition of Grab the Bill by the Horn. And thank you to Public Relations for producing that. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Absolutely.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think we did 4 episodes, so they'll be running.
Very good.
They highlighted a few other bills that'll be relevant as it gets closer to the time for the governor to finish signing the bills.
Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to each and every one of those episodes as we move into the summer, because I think it's important for citizens. In fact, I know it is. And citizens, one of the things that you pointed out there, Commissioner, I'm going to take the privilege to say this. One of the things that the Executive Director pointed out in that presentation is that a lot of folks may not know who their representatives are. there's a site that you can go in and put in your zip code or your address, and it will link you up with who your state representative is and your state senator. A lot of folks may not know who they are. And as we move forward, one of our goals is to get as many of those state representatives and state senators to grace us with their presence here at a BOC meeting, so you can see them live and they can give you their own verbal and live update, and you can hear straight from the horse's mouth by having your state representative and your state senator present here at one of our BOC meetings. So we're working on that, and we look forward to having them here in the days ahead. Thank you so much. Very briefly, I want to make sure I say Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers once again as we're approaching Mother's Day holiday. Also want to say hats off to Sheriff Levitt and to Chief Scott Freeman with the City Police Department as we're recognizing Law Enforcement Week this week. We were part of an event this morning sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, put together by Mr. Thomas Dean and Mr. Jason Witcher from the Rockdale Conyers Chamber of Commerce this morning, just really highlighting the importance of public safety and the contribution that our law enforcement community bring to our community as a whole. Both the sheriff and I both talked this morning, and we made mention of the fact that Rockdale County is among the safest counties in the state of Georgia. And each time I say that, I always back it up by saying that, yes, every now and then we do have a little something that happens because we have people that live here. But we're not that county. We're not that city that you constantly see on the television news night after night after night after night. Things do happen. We have to have law enforcement. Law enforcement over the last 36 to 42 months have really taken a brutal beating from the public. People don't realize how important it is until you need the police. And we want to just take a moment and say thank you to all of the men and women in uniform that serve our community and keep us safe day in and day out. And I want to say again, thank you to Sheriff Levitt and to Chief Scott Freeman over at the City Police Department.
So Friday night, I was involved in an 8-car pileup, and we waited an hour and a half for police to arrive. This was in the city of Atlanta. And as I was sitting there waiting, I thought, this would never happen in Rockdale County, because the city is so responsive, the county is so responsive. They could have sent Georgia State Patrol. It was on 7585. But, you know, I really appreciated being a resident of Rockdale County because of the law enforcement that we have here.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that story, and I'm glad that you're doing fine, Commissioner. I think one of the things that I do want to point out, as I stated this morning in that breakfast meeting, is that social media is loaded with so many, oftentimes we hear about all the negative things in and around law enforcement and the law enforcement community. People just tear them up day in and day out. What people forget is that law enforcement officers, men and women, are husbands and wives and fathers and sons, and they're contributing members of our community, and that they do a lot of good that we don't hear a lot about, and they do it collectively, and sometimes these officers do it individually out of their own from their own resources. So this is the time that we really want to say thank you to our law enforcement community, and we encourage them to be safe in the execution of their duties. But thank you for what you're doing, and we want to make sure we pointed that out this afternoon during our board meeting. That's also another segue for me to make mention. Many of you all, I'm not alone with watching the news in our region. And you know, there's been a number of shootings across the region here in Metro Atlanta and across our country, whereas we've not experienced anything like that here in Rockdale County. As chairman of the county, I think it's incumbent upon me to remind all of our citizens to be alert, to be mindful of their movement and their activities day and night. Things are no longer limited to the darkness of the night. Things happen in broad daylight. You could be pumping gas, going to the church, barber shop, grocery store, simply minding your business, or taking a walk in the park. I want you to be alert and be aware of your surroundings. We have, as the commissioner has pointed out, a very responsive law enforcement agencies in our community, but law enforcement cannot be everywhere. So I want to just say, please, ma'am, please, sir, be safe and take advantage of doing what you need to do to protect yourself and your property, because times have changed. This is a different world that we live in. We don't want you to be paranoid, but we certainly want you to be aware. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that as well. I know that Parks and Recreation has a ton of exciting events and activities that are coming up, and as Director Redmond is making his way swiftly to the podium to give us a brief update on some of the events and activities that's happening, because the kids, the young people will be getting out of school, and there's much to do.
Yes, there is. Good afternoon again. You're exactly right, Chairman. So we have a lot going on. This is our peak season for us at Parks and Recreation. So of course we are having summer camp. The dates for that run from May 30th through July 21. Each week is a session. The fees are $100 for the first child, $90 for each additional child, and again, that is per session. We also have the employee activity that's coming up. We have a dodgeball tournament coming up for county games, which will be very fun. If you have someone that you work with that frustrates you quite a bit, this is a good time to come and participate with them.
Yeah, I'll be playing, Commissioner. I'll be playing.
Sign us up.
Just a little fun. So we also have, for the new fitness court that we placed at Parker Road, we have a fitness court challenge that is coming up between Rockdale County Fire Rescue and Rockdale County Sheriff's Department. So that should be fun. It's a fitness challenge. They get out there and they get to challenge each other.
Well, you know, let me jump in there and say this. I'm gonna be a little bit prejudiced on this one. Rockdale County Sheriff, y'all better be ready, because the Rockdale County Fire Rescue, they've been fit to fight fire for a long time, and they are ready. So I won't miss that one. I'm just saying.
So it's a good way for us to promote the fitness court and find some ambassadors in the community. So again, just a little friendly competition.
You know, I've said that the three of us, it's not friendly. I said the three of us should do the fitness court challenge, you know, to promote
so
it.
let me remind everyone, the fitness court, it does have a QR code for you to scan on your phone to take you through the different exercises at beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level. So it's for everyone.
Okay, so there's a QR code.
Commissioner, it's for everyone.
Okay, beginner level, it said. Maybe I could do that.
Okay.
Getting yourselves in trouble. All right, up next, we do have everyone's favorite activity that's coming up Friday, May 19th. The Friday wind down will be at Costa Mill Park from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This event is a free entry event. However, there will be items available to purchase at the event.
And that's age limit.
And the age limit is 21 and up. You are correct. ID must be shown, it will be checked. We will go through all the proper protocols to make sure that the age appropriate guests are there.
Absolutely.
We also have our beach reopening May 28th. That is at Costa Mill from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. On May 27th, which is the day before, we will open the splash pad at Millstead.
And out at Millstead, at the splash pad there in Millstead, you've added some new playground equipment.
We have added some new playground equipment. We're able to do some small renovations to that area with general services. So we added a bench, playground equipment, and something else. What? Yes. Shade structure, that's right. Thank you. And we added a shade structure as well. So when parents are out there with their kids and they're playing on the splash pad, they have something to kind of keep them covered out of the sun. You know, weather don't affect kids, it's just the parents that gets hot. Yeah.
And the grandparents.
And the grandparents. This is correct. We also have a summer safety slam that is coming up in partnership with Rockdale County Fire Rescue. This will be Saturday, June the 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a community event We also have Touch a Truck, live demonstrations, safety and health information in the kids zone, and much more at this event.
Touch a Truck, that's a fire truck.
That is fire truck, emergency equipment for the kids to be able to.
A red fire truck.
A red fire truck to be able to explore the different equipment.
Let me mention the Touch a Red Fire Truck project that's coming up. To all those parents out there, you know, I don't know what it is about the red fire truck, but kids just come to life to be around the fire truck. We want to encourage all of our parents to bring the children out and let them touch the truck and engage with firefighters and other public safety personnel that will be out at this event. That's a wonderful way of introducing young people to public safety.
Yes, sir. And lastly, the Summer Concert Series is returning this summer. The first one will be June 25th, followed by July 30th, August 27th, and September 24th. The concert series runs from June to September, the last Sunday of each month. The time is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The location will be at Casa Mill Park, 2599 Salem Church Road, Carnegie, Georgia, 30013. And again, this is an event that is free to the public.
And who's kicking off our first concert?
The first concert will be kicked off by the Corey Brown Band.
Yes, and Mr. Corey Brown is one of our very own employees. He is super fantastic on that saxophone. He serenaded us this morning over at the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, he really brought down the house. So y'all give it up for Corey Brown. Right, absolutely. One of our own employees, absolutely. I was giving him a big woo-woo this morning at the meeting because he was up front blowing that. Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't.
I gave him a big woo-woo this morning at the chamber meeting because he was serenading the crowd and really bringing the house down with his saxophone. Corey is one of our most dedicated employees that works with, he leads the community improvement team. And of course, he and his band moves all over the metro region, and we're excited about having him kick off our summer concert. He has his own following, and his fellow coworkers and employees certainly come out and support us. So I wanted to just give a big shout out. We've got employees doing all kind of wonderful things all through our community, and Corey's just one of the most talented employees that we have. So that date for the kickoff of the summer concert series, again?
June 25th.
Sunday,
June 25th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
All right.
Yes, and I have two more, and these are for Commissioner Washington. The Sunset Cinema series, we will have two movies. The first will be June 17th at Johnson Park. The gates open at 7 p.m. The movie that we're showing will be The Minions, Rise of Gru, and who said that? You like Minions? The next one will be August the 5th. And we will have Sunset Cinema on the beach at Casa Mill Road, at Casa Mill Park, I'm sorry. Saturday, August 5th, 2599 Salem Church Road. Time will be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be a little darker, it gets darker a little quicker in August, so that's why the time is switched. And then during that Sunset Cinema, the movie that we're showing is called Turning Red. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that one, but most of the kids know what that is. And it's about some red pandas. And a little girl who has a dream, and there's a bunch of red pandas in it, so that's why it's called Turning Red.
Red is the color today.
Red is the theme for today. And that's all I have, Commissioner.
Thank you, Director Redmond, and to you and the Parks and Recreation team for wonderful events and activities. Folks, you can find all of this stuff on our new website. It's out there. You can also follow us on social media and all of our platforms where all of this information is there. The director made mention of a couple of free items, the free events, as well as the folks from our UGA Extension Office talked about some free events, and the folks over at the library talked about activities that are free to the public and our young people to participate as we move throughout the summer. Parents are planning ahead because it is now summer camp season. Yes. They're looking for places that are affordable for summer camp and that are in close proximity. So we encourage you to check with Parks and Recreation, Johnson Park, and find out about all of the different activities that we have here in Rockdale County.
In addition to that, Chairman, you can also download the mobile app that we have.
We have a mobile app.
The Play Store, App Store, type in Rockdale Parks. It will pop up. The logo will pop up. You can download the app. It has all the information of all the things that I just mentioned. You can find it on the app.
And give us the name of that app again.
Rockdale Parks.
Rockdale
Just type in
Parks.
Rockdale Parks.
Yes,
and
sir.
You'll see the logo pop up.
Very good.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chief Sanders, any updates, some pressing news of some of the progress we've been making?
Good morning, or good afternoon. The only thing I did want to, PR has some pictures that are queued up for the recent awards that Rockdale Water attended the conference.
Very good. Yes, we are proud of the water department. Yes, indeed. Let's see those wonderful pictures from the award ceremony. Wow. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Chief. I'd be remiss if I didn't call up Mr. Murray. Come on up, Mr. Vanoy Murray. Give him a round of applause. This is the man with the plan. That's right. He's the man with the plan out at our water plant. And we want to say thank you for your team and the fine work that you do. As we talk often about public safety, we also have to have someone working 24 hours a day at our water facility and our water plant. Mr. Vanoy Murray leads that team out there, and for 16 years they've been consecutively receiving the Platinum Award for making sure that. And then I saw where we had the Best Tasting Award in the state of Georgia. I'm telling, and what was that other award?
We won first in the third district.
Come on up, Deputy Director. Yes. Give the Deputy Director a round of applause, too. Absolutely. Yes.
Good afternoon, I'm sorry. But can I step back a little bit?
Yes, sir.
They kind of flashed it too fast, to be honest with you.
We'll play it again. Play it again, PR. Play it again.
And the reason why I say that, because to win this prestigious Platinum Award for the 16th consecutive time, you know what that means? That means that the EPA, federal government, and the EPD had said Rockdale County is in 100% compliance.
Could you say that again? That needs to be reiterated, what that means.
And to actually win the third district, it was some heavy hitters there. City of Atlanta, Gwinnett County, let's call them a few. and the other 13 of them. We ranked, this small little county ranked third in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
And the reason why I want to emphasize that, because you got to understand, if you look at the map of Georgia and look at Rockdale County, it's like a little pin mark. And you're telling me that we got the best tasting water, the third best tasting water in the state of Georgia? That's amazing.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
Yes.
Out of 159 counties.
Yes.
And I think that's another applause.
Yes.
And to the point that actually they got invited we got invited to the, the People Choice Award in Savannah, and only 5 participants can participate in that. And Rockdale County was one of the ones that they chose to participate in that.
Very good.
For another award. You want to say anything? And this guy right here, and his team is amazing. And every time we come before the BOC and we ask for any kind of funding for the treatment facility, this is why. And this actually debunked anything about silk, contaminated water. It throws all of that in the trash can. And keep in mind, they've been doing it for 16 consecutive terms. And thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a big deal, and we have to make a big deal out of it because it is. When you think about what's happening in our region, across the country, about water, and the fact that so many cities and counties across the country, not just limited here in the state of Georgia, have been negatively impacted by water contamination and all sorts of problems. We can't take for granted that not only we have safe drinking water, but we have a qualified and competent set of employees who are dedicated to making sure that Rockdale County produces the best water in the state of Georgia. That's a lot to be proud of. There is no perfect county. There's no perfect place. But when you have dedicated people who are determined to make sure year after year, 16 consecutive years for the Platinum Award, that deserves another round of applause. So I'll say it as the chairman of Rockdale County, I'll go ahead and say it, to all those folks that want to make you believe that the sky is falling and that the rivers are rising, keep watching us. Because we're rocking and rolling and we're moving right forward and we're doing what we need to do. And we take it very serious that we have to protect our water source. And outside of our human capital, our water and our reservoir is our next best resource here in Rockdale County. We could never say enough about all of our employees and certainly the people that represent Rockdale Water Resources and the fine work that they do. Yes, commissioners, they work 24 hours a day. We have to have people out at our plant making sure that it is safe, clean, and that things are being monitored all through the night to make sure that we're providing the best in Rockdale County. And I think the Deputy Director Davis made mention to the amount of funds that we spend and we talk about each week when we come in here, the amount of chemicals that is required in order to keep the water safe and clean here in Rockdale County. To all of those local school teachers that are listening and watching this broadcast, I know the year is coming to a fast end in the school system, but get ready and make it a part of your plan next year to take the kids on a field trip. Take them out to the wastewater treatment facility, take them out to the water plant and educate them. That's what they did when we were kids. They took us all those places. That's how folks know how to appreciate things and to be more mindful of what they're doing. So we want to make sure that you get on board next year and take our young people out to the facilities to help educate them. Because one thing about the children, when you take the children and expose them, they're going to go back home and tell the parents how their day went. They're going to educate mom and dad on what to do and what not to do because they've been informed and properly educated by the content gurus throughout our community. So many wonderful things happening here in Rockdale County. Again, a big shout out to Nancy Gwen Library, also Restoration Storehouse. Keep up the wonderful work you're doing, 1400 Parker Road, and to our wonderful UGA Extension Office and 4-H folks over on West Avenue. We really appreciate the fine work that you're doing. Mother's Day, don't wait until the last minute. If your mother is still living, you should have already taken care of mama by now. It's not too late. You got a few more days and hours to get mother a Mother's Day gift. Now, if you like me, my mom is already in heaven, and that's right, she's up there, and I know she's just having a good time. And we're going to recognize all of those folks whose mom has already passed on, and we're going to pay homage to them as well. So celebrate your mother. Make your reservations because you know that's the biggest day in the restaurant business. You won't be able to get in if you hadn't already made your reservation. Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, you can hardly get in the restaurant. So if you're not going to the restaurant, go ahead and put a spread out for mama at the house and lay it out real good and let me say this, I'll wrap it up here. Take mama where she wants to go. Cook mama her favorite meal. And don't take her to your favorite restaurant. Don't be so selfish. Take mama to where she wants to go. This is all about her. I just had to say that because I got some cousins in them who like to take their mama to where they want to go instead of taking mama to her favorite place. Mr. Wright, you understand, Mr. Wright, what I'm saying? Take mama to where she wants to go. It's the time to celebrate mother. Enough of that. Executive Director Rutledge, Is there any need for executive session?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Mother's Day. This meeting is adjourned.
Good job.